Phyllis, were Ayn Rand's movies always about the propaganda?
Well, The Fountainhead made no sense at all, and Atlas Shrugged was awful, really.
Okay, then why have so many of our politicians fallen in love with her books?
Well, her heroes hate the poor, hate the unions, hate regulators, and call them parasites and looters. But they are wealthy, so would make great donors to political campaigns.
Ayn Rand, the false prophet of objectivism. In the first segment, we compared the spirit of the current age to that of Dickens' Ebenezer Scrooge and Jacob Marley. Echoed in the spirit the Potter character in It's a Wonderful Life. Producing an American version of Pottersville, where all the wealth goes to the top, and all others are left to fend for themselves. We showed where this was really just a resurgence of mammon worship, where the market takes the place of God. To understand how this new attitude was adopted so broadly, we need to understand Ayn Rand's objectivism movement. For it is Rand, through her book Atlas Shrugged, who occupies the slot of chief prophetess of the modern market economy. And it was Rand, a Russian immigrant, and atheist, that perhaps did the most damage to the modern concept of a fair and equal society. With some experts even labeling her objectivism movement a cult. If true, a strange cult whose members come primarily from the wealthy and highly educated classes. With some wealthy followers studying her books as one would the Bible. And other quoting passages from her books out loud, treating them as one would treat scripture verses. Atlas Shrugged was deemed by the Library of Congress to be the most influential book of our time, second to the Bible itself. Thus, if conservatives ever had a prophetess, it was Ayn Rand. And, if they ever had a Bible, it was Atlas Shrugged. And if they ever had a god, well, the Greek god pictured here as Atlas, is the overman, or creator in Ayn Rand terminology. Because in Ayn Rand's world, the billionaire corporate classes are accepted as a new class of gods, holding up the rest of the world, but more on that later. Ayn Rand, the most influential philosopher of our time, was author of many books, two of which became major motion pictures during the 1950s. Her philosophy, The Virtue of Selfishness, reads like a carefully rebranded and stealthy version of eugenic philosophies of the past. Her novel The Fountainhead features Nietzschean overman Howard Roark as a sympathetic figure, fighting against corrupt government forces. Providing inspiration for Donald Trump, who sees himself as the Howard Roark character, the industrialist who can do no wrong. And, in her novel Atlas Shrugged, the chief industrialist of his time goes on strike, in revolt against corrupt government forces. In short, wealthy individuals are good, the government is bad, and must be resisted. If you want to understand how the insurrection could have happened, credit Ayn Rand.
A course in restoring kingdom rule. Let's begin. Democracy is messy, with people feeling they have the right to protest, and all that. And then there is this whole idea of welcoming immigrants. Never a good idea, was it? A lot of successful kingdoms exist today. Like the King of Bahrain, one of our favorites. To accomplish this, you'll need a propagandist, posing as a fictional writer, of course. To create wealthy and powerful characters that people can look up to. And this is very important. There must be a conspiratorial mindset to this approach. Because you'll need to circulate conspiracy theories to get your overthrow army going. That's the spirit. And if all goes well, you can be rid of the burdens of democracy rule forever. Are there any questions, students?
Nietzsche predicted that talented over men would one day rule over other men, like man does over the apes. Rand's overman is the corporate industrialist, whom today's conservatives' job creators were derived from. Rand's parasites are essentially most everyone else. Anyone who is dependent on the work or thoughts of others. Now, let's play Find the Parasites. Is it these folks? Or these school kids? Maybe it's this truck driver. Or this retired couple. Or these firemen. Or this school teacher. Maybe it's this Mackinst. Well, congratulations if you guessed that all of these people are parasites, because anyone who is eligible to collect Social Security or a union pension is a parasite. Oh, and all public school students are too. But don't worry, because this fella has a plan to deal with all you parasites out there. He's going to cut Social Security and ensure college loans aren't forgiven. Oh, but let's not forget about the corporate creator class. That would be her. And these folks. And these folks. Look, this guy may not look that busy, but he won't rest until he's created another job today. His whole purpose in life is to create jobs for people. Look at what he did today. Whoops, please disregard that one. But the point is, these folks do look dangerous, don't they? They might stumble and spill a frappuccino on someone at Starbucks. But, because of Objectivism's influence on our political system today, it's important for us to go into more detail on exactly what Ayn Rand's philosophy was and is. In The Fountainhead, the hero Howard Rourke blows up a public housing project over an artistic dispute. This criminal act is considered to be a moral act of courage.